really appropriate for a married man to have a long courtship. So they actually courted, I think, for almost like a year, which, hey, if I had a year with Kody, I'm not sure I would have married him, honestly.
Ooh.
So I might have seen him for talked about with everybody.
This moment.
No.
So it almost feels like there's a lot more to their love story than we really know?
I think that it was a love story from the very, very, very beginning. It just was. And they had to just hide it.
It's a tough one right now for me. If I had some sort of guarantee and Kody was up for it, yeah. But I have no guarantee and Cody's not up for it, and I'm scared to death of it now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It would have to be some sort of crazy guarantee. I'd have to have God talk to me and, like,
Yeah.
burning bushes kind of a thing.
You won't believe the tea we're spilling today. From secret breakups to shocking lies, this is Unreal Tea. Hit subscribe before the drama starts. Welcome, everyone. For more than a decade, you've lived in the fairy tale. But suppose the fairy tale was the scam? Suppose the love, the unity, and the dream family we all believed we had was merely an illusion worth $1 billion? Tonight, we reveal the biggest lie of the Sister Wives empire, a lie hidden deep within legal papers, secret agreements, and rumors from insiders who risked everything to reveal it. By the conclusion of this inquiry, you will never gaze upon this family or reality TV in quite the same manner again. America had been sold a story for years. A tale of love, family, and religion that grew. We saw them build houses, raise kids, and live an existence few could dream. But off camera, a more sinister story was unfolding, one founded not on love or devotion, but on contracts, domination, and an economic empire that few people comprehended. What you're about to hear is a story that has been spoken in hushed social circles, compiled through legal research, insider accounts, and forensic-level contract examination. It's a story that upends everything you believed about the Browns and TLC itself. This is the Great Sister Wives contract conspiracy, and when the curtain is drawn back, there's no unseeing it. The illusion was immaculate. One family, bound in faith and finances, bracing life's difficulties as one. But by several accounts, that illusion was the greatest asset of all. Not their houses, not their property, not even their relationships, but their narrative itself. And the devastating accusation? Kody Brown was in charge. Not spiritually. Legally. Sources assert that prior to the cameras rolling in 2010, a new company entity was secretly formed, an LLC intended to serve as the family's official loan-out corporation. On paper, it was sensible. Networks like to write checks to one entity rather than have several contracts for several grown-ups. But the twist is this. Kody was purportedly the sole owner. According to our legal analysts, this small detail changed everything. As the sole member and manager of the LLC, Kody wasn't just the patriarch. He was the CEO of the Brown family brand. The wives, Meri, Janelle, Christine, and later Robyn, weren't partners. They weren't co-owners. They were employees, or worse, independent contractors of a company built on their own lives. This distinction matters. Owners have rights, profit shares, transparency, access to books. Employees? Whatever wage is contractually agreed to. No access to profits. No right to the millions paid out through the network. No right under law to even look at the books. People in the industry estimate that Sister Wives, by its later years, was making between $2 million and $4 million a year. Conservatively, $2. $5 million per season. And where did that money go? Straight to the LLC. If the wives had been earning $150,000 each season, that's $600,000 altogether, a lot of money, but leaving almost $1. $9 million in Kody's sole possession. Money that could be channeled into real estate, investments, or other business, all without the wives' knowledge. They weren't partners. They were the cast in a show about their own lives. The relocation to Las Vegas was framed as a flight from religious persecution. A fleeing family. But it is rumored there was a second motive, financial restructuring in the guise of anarchy. New houses, new mortgages, new bank accounts. Ideal timing to secure corporate ownership while diverting the family and the viewer with emotional narratives. By the time Vegas was raging, one wife's role started to dramatically change. Robyn wasn't only the youngest wife, she was, insiders say, poised to become CFO of the Brown dynasty. While the others had lived in the closed universe of plural marriage, Robyn had been exposed to divorce, debt, and credit. She knew the corporate playbook. And, says a former member of the production team, Kody depended on her whispers when making major decisions, whispers that dictated the family's financial fate. The consequence? A business empire based on deception, where love, devotion, and trust were secondary to corporate control and economic power. And now that relationships have been strained and there are impending lawsuits, the overarching question is this: was the entire Sister Wives saga a scripted scam for the millions? This source claims that Robyn played a key role in solidifying the corporate model. She knew that being an employee spelled stagnation. The objective was to be an owner. And because Kody already owned the primary LLC alone, the second best solution was to establish a new parallel corporate entity that she could co-own him. My Sister Wife's Closet pitched on the show as a joint family-owned business, a means for the wives to work together and establish something of their own. But an examination of the business records and on-screen melodrama suggests otherwise. It was, in our thesis, a Trojan horse, a means for Kody and Robyn to siphon off the income of the primary TV LLC into a side business that they alone ended up running. Franklin Adler explained, it's a way to legitimize expenditures. Suppose you have $1 million in profit in your flagship TV corporation. You can't suddenly spend it all on personal indulgences and trigger alarms and monstrous tax liabilities. But you can invest it in a startup firm. You can shift. For instance, $500,000 from Patriarch Productions to My Sister Wife's Closet as a business investment or a loan. Now, that money is in the new business, and that business has the means to cover business expenses, design trips, products that might or might not sell, office supplies, car leases, all manner of things. It obfuscates things and takes the money another step further from the source that is supposed to be paying them, the TLC contract they all contributed to earn. And who is putting the most work into this family business? The other wives saw it as more of a side pastime. Robyn treated it as a career. Our theory is that she knew it was greater than a jewelry business. It was their escape hatch. It was the channel on which they could spend legally and rightfully the enormous amounts of money Kody was sitting on from the TLC deal. While Meri, Janelle, and Christine were earning a salary and living off of that, thinking the rest of the funds were going into a vague family fund. That fund was supposedly being siphoned off into a company that mainly benefited the CEO and his buddy-favorite executive. The proof was right in front of us on our televisions for years. Recall Robyn's ongoing need for a rental house with extra room, extra amenities? Remember the huge parties, the lavish presents for her children? The other wives were pinching pennies in spreadsheets to put food on the family table. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn, we surmise, were working out of a whole other secret budget, a corporate budget, the Flagstaff debacle, a land of broken dreams. If Las Vegas was the consolidation of Kody's wealth, Flagstaff was his attempt to make it official. The Coyote Pass move was the largest, boldest, and most devastating financial gamble of his whole reign. It was sold as going back to their beginnings, an idyllic paradise where the whole family could finally be together on one massive chunk of land. But our sources tell a very different tale. Coyote Pass wasn't a dream come true. It was a trap. An anchor of multi-millions that is intended to indebting the family, or at least the OG wives, to his flagship corporation for the remainder of their lives. Let's dissect the purported mechanics of this. The family collectively bought the Coyote Pass property for $820,000. In order to do so, money had to be coerced. Janelle famously gave up a lot of money from the proceeds of her Vegas house sale. Christine gave hers. Meri hers. They invested their entire life savings, the equity they had so carefully accumulated, in this bare plot of land. But here is the question that no one on the show ever definitively answered. Who or what owned the land? The ownership arrangement was a muddled mess, a willful blurring of names and plots. But our expert forensic accountant thinks the true money, the money utilized to pay for the land balloon payments and the money utilized to cover any development which might be undertaken, was always going to come from one source. Franklin Adler stated, Patriarch Productions LLC, the television money. The brilliance of the swindle from a strictly financial angle is that he persuaded the wives to cash in their own tangible assets, their homes, and turn them into a collective, undeveloped, and illiquidity asset, the land. He then makes the construction of the land depend on future financing which he alone and exclusively controls in the LLC. It was the ultimate move for power. The wives were now cash poor, their funds buried in dirt. In order to ever recover on their investment, to ever construct the homes they had been promised, they would be totally at the mercy of Kody's benevolence. They would have to visit him with their hands full and request the CEO of Patriarch Productions to kindly distribute some of the profits of the company, profits they made using their own life histories to construct their homes. He had taken away their money. Independence under the guise of creating a family utopia. And what did they find when they arrived in Flagstaff? The construction never materialized. The utopia did not happen. Instead, the cash just kept on flowing in one direction. While the other wives lived in short-term leases, or in Janelle's situation, an RV, Kody and Robyn bought a big old house. How is this justified? On television, it was a confused jumble of rationales. They needed the room for their younger kids. It had to be a smart investment. It was the only one there. But our economic theory indicates a less complicated explanation. The company, Patriarch Productions, purchased the house, or at least offered the down payment and supported the huge mortgage. It was yet another corporate investment in the guise of a family residence, a base for the CEO and his preferred partner. As the rest of the staff remained in limbo, Eliza Vance, lawyer for entertainers, reported that this is where the so-called fraud really gets sinister. The storyline of the television show is one of a family trying to establish on their property. But the actual off-screen narrative would be one of a corporation taking its profits and using them to buy up assets for its owner as it string along its contractors with promises of a possible future payment that will never arrive. The wives are essentially paying for their own disenfranchisement. Each tear they shed in front of the camera, each fight with Kody, it boosts the ratings for the show. Increased ratings translate into a larger check from TLC. And that larger check goes straight back into the corporate black hole, further consolidating his grip. They are stuck in a positive feedback loop of emotional distress and economic exploitation. And for years, no one apparently understood the full magnitude of the trap they were in. They thought they were partners in a family. They existed on trust, on faith, and on decades of mutual sacrifice. None of them would have thought that the about family togetherness had apparently put up a corporate wall between him and his wives. A wall so well concealed that no one noticed it until the first fissures. And those fissures were precipitated by one woman's choice to break everything. Christine Brown was not just ending a marriage. She was releasing a legal time bomb. Her departure would burst the locked doors of the family's finances and trigger a chain reaction likely to reveal Kody Brown's biggest claimed secret, the TLC contract fraud. In part 1, we revealed the explosive theory that Kody arranged the family's TV deal in a private corporation, Patriarch Productions LLC, and declared himself sole owner, while his wives were relegated as employees. And now, as Christine turned to leave, she unwittingly became the first to call for accountability, the first to ask who really owned whom, and the first to compel Kody to answer what had been hidden for more than a decade. The battle over Christine's Flagstaff home was about more than property. On screen, it appeared emotional. Would Kody assist her? Would the family assist her? Off camera? It was a battle in court about ownership, equity, and control of the company. Entertainment lawyer Eliza Vance described, if the LLC funded the down payment, if the mortgage was being put on corporate accounts, Kody could make the argument that the house wasn't Christine's. It was a company asset, which meant that any profit off its eventual sale legally belongs to the LLC, not her. But Christine wasn't going to give up. Sources indicated that her lawyers were ready to insist on books, bank statements, operating agreements, and TLC contracts, records Kody had purportedly battled to conceal for years. The house was eventually sold. Christine received almost $700,000 in cash. Why would Kody, a woman accused of operating a tightly managed financial empire, just fold? Sources indicate two reasons: the specter of legal discovery, a court fight could make everything public, and the other wives. Christine's new bargaining chip in her contract. After quitting, Christine was more valuable to TLC than ever. Her individual deal provided leverage to threaten to spill a tell-all that would make the whole scam blow wide open. Christine did not merely depart with her liberty, she departed with an escape plan. In Flagstaff, Janelle Brown was observing intently. She had been Kody's business partner for years, the pragmatic wife who shared the vision of Coyote Pass. Christine's triumph altered that. Sources indicate that Christine quietly led Janelle through the supposed corporate setup, disclosing that Janelle's family pot she believed she was investing in may not even be real, and that Kody and Robyn may have been running the show all along. For someone as wealthy and financially astute as Janelle, learning the truth was gut-wrenching, a personal and professional betrayal. But Janelle is a tactician, and she had a strategy. Janelle recognized her money was locked up in Coyote Pass. Her only escape? Coerce Kody to purchase her out, exactly like Christine did. That would amount to yet another huge payout by the LLC, another drain on the hidden savings Kody and Robyn supposedly used to support their luxurious lifestyle. Our analyst Franklin Adler explains, first, they had to sell almost $700,000 worth for Christine. And then Janelle makes her demand, another 6 figures. That's nearly $1 million lost from the purported corporate coffers. No surprise that Robyn was in a panic. Robyn's tears, previously rendered as emotional, now become frightening to read, the terror of a financial empire coming apart bit by bit. Christine and Janelle now defected, the dam had broken. The facade of harmony was destroyed. And the financial and legal tempest brewing on the horizon risked doing what no family saga ever could, wrecks the empire from the inside out. With Christine and Janelle at last free of Kody's iron control and corporate management, they did something they had never been able to bring themselves to do before: exchange information. And watching in the wings, Meri, long relegated to the sidelines, listened intently. This was no rumor. It was the dawn of a new union, one not built on religion or a common husband, but on betrayal, money secrets, and a desire for justice. Liberated from Kody's grip, the 3 original wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine, started a series of stealthy, furtive meetings. They came armed with receipts. Christine spoke of revelations from her violent court battle over her house. Janelle, whose practical brain kicked in, pored over ancient tax papers she had blindly co-signed. Meri, with years of institutional experience, identified when the family finances turned into a cover-up. The bombshell followed. A source within the law says the wives' lawyers discovered the original documents of incorporation of the Brown family loan-out company, and the surprise that awaited them was alarming. Kody Brown, sole owner. Robyn Brown, officer listed almost from the beginning. This wasn't Kody's game. It was a claimed joint money conspiracy between Robyn and Kody, set up for more than a decade. Entertainment attorney Eliza Vance explained to us, this file is heartbreaking. It confirms Robyn wasn't merely a beneficiary, she was a significant participant in operating the company that possibly was cheating the other wives. The wives' attorneys didn't rest yet. Through assistance from forensic accountants, they were able to access the bank records of the LLC and discovered a decade of outright financial abuse. 2 categories of expenditures were revealed: small, frequent salary payments to the OG wives, and everything else: lavish shopping trips, luxury cars, high-end vacations, and enormous transfers of cash seemingly for the benefit of Kody and Robyn alone. One of the largest discoveries? A straight money trail from the LLC account to the down payment and mortgage payments on Kody and Robyn's multi-million-dollar Flagstaff mansion. This is corporate malfeasance, forensic accountant Franklin Adler explained. Using corporate money for personal expenses, particularly when other stakeholders are at play, is an enormous red flag. This is lawsuit gold. With evidence in hand, the OG wives had a decision: leak the story and ruin Kody's reputation, or initiate a legal strike that might destroy his empire. They went to war. A legal insider says Meri, Janelle, and Christine sued Kody Brown Family Entertainment LLC in a sealed, multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Back pay and fraudulent inducement lawyers contend the wives were tricked into contracts by false representations, thinking they were co-equals, not low-paid workers. Estimated damages? More than $12 million in lost revenue. Profit sharing and asset seizure. They're targeting Kody and Robyn's mansion, alleging it was bought with stolen money and must be sold to pay back the wives. Intellectual property and story rights, possibly the most incendiary accusation. The wives are suing to take back rights to their own life narratives, essentially removing the right from the LLC and Kody to use their image or video footage without express permission. It could be the end of Sister Wives as we've known it. Kody and Robyn would face complete devastation if this lawsuit prevails. Bankruptcy, IRS audits, irreversible loss of their brand and reputation. But for the OG3, it's not just about money. It's about justice and taking back control of their life story. Could Kody and Robyn actually have pulled off a 10-year financial scam? And if the courts rule in favor of Christine, Janelle, and Meri, could this be the end of Sister Wives for good? This family's drama is far from over, so smash like if you're #TeamWives, subscribe for the next explosive update, and drop a comment below. Who do you think will win? Stay shady, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next scandal. Kiss mark behind TLC. Sister Wives out.